It's not fixed time. Shall we start our class by reciting Namo Tassa? Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today we are going to learn fine material and immaterial sphere consciousness, Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara Citta. Up to now we have learned sense sphere consciousness. There are 54 altogether: unwholesome, 12, 10, fruitless, 18, sense sphere beautiful, 24. Altogether there are 54 sense sphere consciousness or Kāmāvacara Citta. Today we are going to learn fine material and immaterial sphere consciousness. In Pali, we call Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara Citta. Before learning Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara, first we should know the meaning of jhana. Actually, there are two interpretations given in the commentaries. Jhana means one is see closely or observe closely, focus closely, pay attention closely. That's the meaning of jhana, one meaning. Another meaning is burn the opponent factor, which has a nature of destroy or burn, abandon the opposite factors. That's another interpretation. But this interpretation also matched with all the jhanas. The first interpretation matched with all the citta. Okay, let's see what are the opponent factors. What are the opposite factors of the jhana? As we know, 5 hindrances. In Pali we call nivarana. So there are 5 types of nivarana. 5 nivarana: sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restless and worry, doubt. In Pali, sensual desire, kamachanda; ill will, vyapada or vyapada; sloth and torpor, thina middha; restlessness and worry, uddhacca kukkucca; doubt, vicikiccha. Those are the 5 hindrances that hinder the progress, cultivation of the meditator, cultivation of our spiritual practice. So these jhana factors can burn those 5 hindrances. Therefore, we call them as jhana. In Pali, we call jhapeti, means burn. So that's the interpretation given in Pali. Now let's move into the meditation objects. So first, let's clarify the meditation objects. So we can classify meditation objects into 2 classes: serenity object and insight object, samatha objects and vipassana objects. We will learn about vipassana objects later, and also samatha objects in detail in the chapter 9. In brief, the ultimate realities are the objects of the insight meditation. For example, 5 hindrances, 12 bases, 18 elements. Those are the objects. Then regarding samatha elements, almost there are concepts. There are some objects which have the object of the ultimate realities. We will learn later. Generally, we say regarding samatha objects, the objects are almost concepts. Not all, almost. For example, let's take one object of the kasina. There are 10 kasinas, but here I gave an example of only 8. So I took the example for element and the color kasinas. Color kasinas. So earth kasina, water kasina, fire kasina, air kasina. Regarding color kasinas, there are 4: blue kasina, yellow kasina, red kasina, and white kasina. When someone practicing meditation, I mean samatha meditation, white disc, okay. With a contemplative we call that object as Uggaha Nimitta in Pali, or Shadow Silananda, translated as it's become bargaining. The after his contemplation, the strength of the due to strength of the concentration, he may attain higher stages, more and more stable and strong concentration. We call them as Jhana consciousness. That's Rūpāvacara consciousness. So that's those chittas are more and more stable and peaceful, and they have the serenity nature than Kāmāvacara or sense sphere consciousness. It can exist with that object for a long time. Concentration is more and more powerful, stable. That's the nature of the jhana consciousness. Before going to the jhana consciousness, let's pay attention for the jhana factor and jhana consciousness. When you will learn about jhanas in other lessons, this classification will be useful. Here it's not important in the chapter 1. We will learn about jhanas in detail. This classification will be useful. So what is a jhana means in Pali? In our Theravāda tradition, the group of 5 factors is called jhana. So jhana factor means one of these factors, either vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, or ekaggata. In this lesson, I would like to use Pali terms than the English translations. Therefore, try to be familiar with those Pali terms. I think it's not difficult. Try to be familiar with those Pali terms for the jhana factors. Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekaggata. So what is the jhana consciousness? The type of consciousness accompanied by those factors is called jhana consciousness. So here connection is not good. However, let's try. So those are the interpretation for the jhana, jhana factor, and jhana consciousness. So those are the jhana factors. You have already know. It's familiar with the Buddhist or whoever practice or is learning suttas. It's not a new thing for them. So there are 5 jhana factors. In Pali, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekaggata. Vitakka means, in English we translate as initial application. Vichara as sustained application. Piti, joy. Sukha, happiness. Ekaggata, one-pointedness. So these jhana factors, actually these are mental factors we will learn in the second chapter. Those mental factors have the ability to see the object closely and burn the opposite factors. Now we have learned what is jhana, what are the jhana factors, and what is the jhana consciousness. Now let's move into the jhana consciousness. Just before the jhana consciousness, we should also clarify the nature of these jhana factors. What are the characteristics of those jhana factors? Now you are familiar with those jhana factors. What are them? Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekaggata. There are 5 jhana factors. So what are the functions of vitakka? The mental factor that directs mind to the object. We have learned in the lesson 1, what is the function of the citta? Just cognizing the object. Here, mind needs the support of the vitakka. Almost. Therefore, function of the vitakka is to direct the mind to the object. In other words, we can say that mounts the mind onto the object. That's the function of the vitakka. We will explain with the similes. With the similes, you can understand clearly. Another meaning, vitakka takes mind onto the object, and it says that it's like putting the mind onto the object. It directs or it puts the mind onto the object. That's the function of the vitakka. What is the function of the vichara? That's like investigating or pondering or examining the object. Sayadaw Silananda mentioned that it's like anchoring the mind. Vichara keeps the mind anchored. That's the function of the vichara. In the Dhammasangani commentary, Piṭaka only get into the sky. In the sky. So think about the nature of the gross nature of the vitakka. Then the which are going to collect the honey, make the honey. First, they dive towards the flower. That diving is like a vitakka, like diving to the object. Then what happened? Then be busy about the flower, like examining. Be doing that action very slowly, not like a diving. It takes time, and also it's quite soft than the diving. So understand that nature of the vitakka is like diving towards the object, like diving towards the flower. Vichara is like examining the object, or just touch the object in the very subtle way, in the soft way, very softly. That's the nature of the vitakka and vichara. Another simile is like cleaning the metal dish. Suppose when you are cleaning metal dish or whatever dish, first you have to hold that dish thoroughly. Then to clean that dish, you have to wipe it smoothly. If you wipe it strongly, sometimes it may be broken, or it's sometimes it becomes ugly. Therefore, when you are cleaning the dish, you have to hold the dish strongly and wipe the dish smoothly. Similarly, understand the nature of the vitakka and vichara. Vitakka is like take the object strongly. Vichara is like the wiping the object. I would say wiping the object smoothly. There are a couple of similes given in the commentary. Just I prefer only these 3 similes. So you can understand the differences of the vitakka and vichara. When we will learn the mental factors in the chapter 2, we will learn again about these mental factors. But for the jhana, for Rūpāvacara Chittas, we should know the nature of the jhana factors. That's why we pay attention for the jhana factors. So up to now we have discussed 2 jhana factors, vitakka and vichara. Next one is piti. Abhidhamma scholars have given several translations for piti. Joy, rapture, happiness, pleasurable interest. Bhikkhu Bodhi translated as zest. So we will use the Pali term. I will use sometimes rapture, sometimes zest, sometimes joy. Here I will use almost Pali term for the to refer the piti. So there are 5 kinds of piti. Minor piti, momentary piti, showering piti, uplifting piti, and pervading piti. Minor piti means in Pali, Uddaka piti. That means when you are doing some wholesome action, you have some happiness, joy, like uplifting your body hairs. We call goosebumps. But it's just only one, it doesn't happen again and again. Then, when you are doing wholesome actions, happiness arises again and again, time to time. That's we call khanika piti. Khanika means moment. Not one moment, moment to moment. It's like a lightning. In the rainy days, we can see lightning moment to moment. Similarly, think about that simile of the lightning. When you feel that lightning, similarly, you feel such experience of the piti, like a lightning, time to time. Then next one, showering piti, okkantika piti. It's like the coming waves. When you are sitting or standing in front of the ocean, you can see waves come and go again and again. Come and go again and again, those waves. So joy arises in your mind again and again, like waves. It arises again and again, become to some level, again reduce, then increase to some level, again reduce. It happens again and again. That's the nature of Kantika piti. The number 4, uplifting piti. In Pali, we call Ubbega piti. That type of joy is able to uplift your body. There are a couple of examples given in the commentary in the Visuddhimagga about Ubbega Piti. There was a story happened in Sri Lanka. Those days there was a ceremony in the monastery. Offering ceremony for the pagoda. There was a pregnant lady. Her mother monastery in the evening. You know, those days, no electricity. They offered with oil lamps. Pagoda arise. Lifted. Pagoda. When her parents were reaching that place, they could see their daughter is in front of the pagoda. Then they asked that, how did you come here? She told that I came through air. How can you come? How can you fly? It can be done by Arahant. Then she told that I don't know what happened. When I was thinking about the ceremony, Buddha's attributes, and the listening, the sound of the ceremony, rapture arises in my mind. After that, I know only this is incident. I am in front of the pagoda. So that's the nature of the Ubbega Piti. It can uplift our body. Sometimes meditators meditate when they get good, strong concentration. They also may feel some uplifting, not much, depend on their concentration. Uplift from the seat. Then last one, pervading piti, sarana piti. That's like a pervading or fulfilling the rapture throughout the body. Like the water going inside the cave, or water or oil absorb the cotton ball absorb the water or oil completely. Similarly, the rapture spread towards entire body. So usually it refers to the jhana levels in the suttas. Those are the 5 levels of the piti: minor, piti, minor joy, momentary joy, showering joy, uplifting joy, and pervading joy. Those are the 5 kinds of piti. Now we have learned vitakka, vichara, and piti. Now we have to learn remaining 2, sukha and ekaggata. Sukha translated as happiness. Actually, I think you can remember the sukha of the ahetuka citta, sukhasagata kaya vijnana, is different from here. Here sukha means actually somanassa, not the sukha in the ahetuka citta. Here sukha means the somanassa vedana. So what is the nature of the sukha here? It intensifies mind. Now you have learned that sukha is happiness. Piti also like joy, rapture. Some scholars translated as happiness. Now you may have questioned that. What is the differences of piti and sukha? There is a simile given in the commentary. There is a person who was looking for water, missed his path. When he was coming, he could see some signs given by the villagers that would be the sign for the water. Those days, they put signs of the branches. They break the branches. And also, he was going with that signs. At that time, he may listen the sounds of the villagers. They are playing in the lake. When he go close and close, he reached that pond or lake. He could see very beautiful lake or pond with pure water. After that, he descended into the lake and take a bath as he wished, drink water as he wished. After that, he could go to his place. Suppose when he was seeing that sign, listening the sounds, seeing the pond, some nature arises in his mind. That's like a piti or joy. But he couldn't experience the taste. When did he experience the taste? When he was taking the bath in the pond or lake, when he was drinking water, cool and pure water, at that time he experienced that taste. That's like a somanassa. So simile given to clarify the differences between joy and happiness. Then the next factor, ekaggata. Ekaggata means the state of having one object. That's the nature we can concentrate our mind. It can take the one state of the object. When we are meditating, we try to keep with a focus one the beginning, so that's the nature we can develop our mental factors, ekaggata, or one-pointedness. So those are the effort. So we have Jhana. Vitakka is the opposite of sloth and torpor, thinamidda. Vichara is the opposite of doubt, vicikiccha. When you have vicikiccha, you have to think wisely again and again. If you have thinamidda, you think, that means think again and again, like pondering, or no, that's like directing your mind towards another object. That time you can overcome thina. Vichara is close to the sometimes close with the panya, wisdom. Then piti is opposite of the ill will or anger. It's very clear. Then sukha and upekha are the opposite factors of the restlessness and remorse. If you have remorse, you do not have happiness in your mind. Then ekaggata is the opposite factors of the sensual desire, kama chanda. When you lessen the power of the kama chanda, sensual desire, you are able to develop your ekaggata. We will learn those natures in next lessons again and again. This is just for introduction. So now we are going to give the name. This is not a difficult. The difficult thing is to understand the nature of those jhana citta. Now just we have to give the name. Fine material sphere consciousness. In Pali, Rūpāvacara Salacitta. Wholesome consciousness, there are 5. Rūpāvacara Kusalacitta. Wholesome consciousness together with the initial application, that's vitakka. Sustained application, vichara. Rapture, piti. Happiness, sukha. One-pointedness, ekaggata. Number 1, wholesome consciousness together with the initial application, sustained application, rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. Here I used very similar method to translate this consciousness. Number 2, the second jhana citta, wholesome consciousness together with the sustained application, vichara, rapture, piti, happiness, sukha, one-pointedness, ekaggata. In the second jhana citta, you cannot find vitakka or initial application. So second jhana citta is consisted with only 4 jhana factors. So third jhana citta, wholesome consciousness together with rapture, piti, happiness, sukha, one-pointedness, ekaggata. How many jhana factors? There are 3 jhana factors in third jhana citta. Fourth jhana citta, wholesome consciousness together with happiness and one-pointedness. Happiness, Sukha, one-pointedness, Ekagrata. How many jhana factors? There are 2 jhana factors, Sukha and Ekagrata. The 5th jhana, wholesome consciousness, together with a neutral feeling, one-pointedness. Here also 2 jhana factors. So what are the differences between 4th and 5th? Differences of the feeling. 4th one is happiness. 5th one is neutral feeling. 4th one, Sukha Vedana. In other words, Somanassa. 5th one, 5th jhana, neutral feeling. Upekha Vedana. So Upekha is higher than the Somanassa in jhana levels. Now just pay attention for the Pali terms, those who know Pali, those who are familiar with Pali terms. First one, Vitakka, Vichara, Pīti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Patama Jhana Kusala Chittam. The second jhana chitta, Vichara, Pīti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Dutiya Jhana Chittam. Third jhana chitta, Jhana. So and because of that jhana power, he or she will reborn in the Brahma realm. At that time, rebirth Rūpāvacara. First jhana. Jhana resultant consciousness. The same application for the remaining. So what are the 5 vipaka chittas? Resultant consciousness together with the initial application, Vitakka, sustained application, Vichara, rapture, Pīti, happiness, Sukha, and one-pointedness. Second one, second jhana vipaka chitta, resultant consciousness together with sustained application, Vichara, rapture, Pīti, happiness, Sukha, one-pointedness, Ekaggata. Third, Rūpāvacara vipaka chitta, resultant consciousness together with rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. Fourth, Rūpāvacara vipaka chitta, resultant consciousness with happiness, one-pointedness, Sukha, and Ekaggata. Fifth, Rūpāvacara vipaka chitta, resultant consciousness together with neutral feeling, one-pointedness, Upekha, and Ekaggata. Those who know the Pali, just in brief, Vitakka, first jhana vipaka, Vitakka, Vichara, Pīti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Patama jhana vipaka chittam. Second Rūpāvacara vipaka, Vichara, Pīti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Dutiya jhana vipaka chittam. Third Vipaka Chitta, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Tatya Jhana Vipaka Chittam. Fourth Vipaka, Rūpāvacara Vipaka, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Chatutta Jhana Vipaka Chittam. The fifth Vipaka Chitta, Upekha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Panchama Jhana Vipaka Chittam. When Arahants develop those fine material sphere functional consciousness, we call them as Kriya, just functions that cannot bring result in the future. We have already discussed about functional consciousness in previous lessons. So, what are the five functional consciousness? Functional consciousness, together with the initial application, sustained application, rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. Second Rūpāvacara Kriya, functional consciousness, together with the sustained application, rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. Third Rūpāvacara Kriya Chitta, functional consciousness, together with the rapture, happiness, and one-pointedness. Fourth Rūpāvacara Kriya Chitta, functional consciousness, together with happiness and one-pointedness. Fifth Rūpāvacara Kriya Chitta, functional consciousness, together with the neutral feeling and one-pointedness. Let's move into the Pali. Vitakka, Vichara, first Kriya, Rūpāvacara Kriya Chitta, Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Atama Jhana, Kriya Chittam. Second Rūpāvacara Kriya, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Dutiya Jhana, Kriya Chittam. Third Rūpāvacara Kriya Chitta, Piti, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Tatiya Jhana, Kriya Chittam. Fourth Rūpāvacara Kriya, Sukha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Chatutta Jhana, Kriya Chittam. The fifth Rūpāvacara Kriya, Upekha, Ekaggata Sahitam, Panchama Jhana, Kriya Chittam. Now I think you are familiar with those Pali terms. Let's move into the Arūpāvacara Chitta, or immaterial sphere consciousness. Those who have developed up to fifth jhana and mastered well, after that, meditator can develop the next level, immaterial sphere consciousness. To develop those immaterial sphere consciousness, meditator should have the concentration, the Rūpāvacara concentration, Rūpāvacara jhanas on kasina objects. First, he should attain the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and fifth jhana, with the object of the kasina, except Akasa kasina and Aloka kasina. Suppose he enter the object with white kasina. Now suppose he is in fifth jhana. He can see the object, the white kasina object, very bright object, he can see. Now he does not think about white. He thinks it as space. Infinite space, like Ananto Akasa in Pali. What happened? The object becomes space. It's like we call removing the kasina object. Now his object is infinite space. That's why we call infinite or akasa. Here also I would like to translate the jhana chittas in a simple way, according to the Chandimala Mahathera and Seado. They have translated as the wholesome Arūpāvacara jhana consciousness having the infinite space as an object. These are actually very, very subtle levels. So we are going to learn in textual level. So those who want to practice, better to go for meditation centers, and they have to practice for a long time to reach those levels. Then what happened? After developing the first Arūpāvacara Citta, then he thinks that first jhana is close to the Rūpāvacara Citta. Then he takes the object of the first Arūpa Jhana Citta, Ākāsaṇañcāyatana Citta. So later we will learn the Pali terms. It's more and more subtler than the first one. So what is the word for the Citta? Viññāna. So second one we call Viññānañcāyatana. Ayatana here refers to object. So Citta. Nothing second one. Therefore, we call it as wholesome Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness, having the object of the nothingness of first Arūpāvacara Jhana. We can Sañña. In Pali, we call it with another suffix, neva Sañña. Non-perception means n Sañña, then n becomes a Sañña. Then no non-perception means n asañña means n asañña na sañña. So those who learn the Pali, they can know how to connect the Pali words. Therefore, we call this citta as wholesome Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness with neither perception nor with non-perception. Those terms are a little bit long in English as well as in Pali. Just for your learning, in Pali we call ayatana. For all the citta, we have term ayatana. For the first three, ayatana means object. But for the fourth one, that's ayatana means the base, not the object. This is for the this extra knowledge. So just now pay attention for Pali terms. In the first chapter, just you have to learn the names and the classification. Kusala, Kusala, Vipaka. Those are the main things you should know in the chapter 1. So the space we call Akasa. wholesome kusala. Ayatana, here called object. So, Akasanam Chayatana Kusala Chittang, first Arūpāvacara Kusala Chitta. Second one, Viññānam Chayatana Kusala Chittang. Viññāna means consciousness. Object of is the first consciousness. Therefore, Viññānam Chayatana Kusala Chittang we name as Viññānam Chayatana. Akinchanyayatana derived from Natti Kinchi. That means, in simple, nothingness. Therefore, we name this chitta as Akinchanyayatana Kusala Chitta. Neva Sanya Na Sanyayatana Kusala Chitta. Here, neither perception nor non-perception. Don't be afraid about these Pali terms. You will learn again and again. It will be familiar with you. Similarly, Vipaka Chitta. Those who have developed Arūpāvacara Vipaka Chittas, they will reborn in immaterial realms. First vipaka of the first wholesome is the first Vipaka Chitta. Second Arūpa wholesome consciousness gives second Vipaka. Third one, third Vipaka. Fourth one, fourth Vipaka. The resultant Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness having infinite space as an object. Resultant Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness having the object of first Arūpa Jhana Chitta. Resultant Jhana consciousness having the object of the nothingness of first Arūpa Jhana Chitta. Resultant Jhana consciousness, which is neither perception nor non-perception. The similar Pali terms, Akasanam Chayatana Vipaka Chitta, Viññānam second one, Viññānam Chayatana Vipaka Chitta, third one, Akinchanyayatana Vipaka Chitta, fourth one, Neva Sanya, Na Sanyayatana Vipaka Chitta. Immaterial sphere functional consciousness, this is for Arahants, Buddha, Pacceka Buddha and Arahants. Resultant consciousness having infinite space as an object. Resultant Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness having the object of first Arūpa Jhana Chitta. Third one, resultant Arūpāvacara Jhana consciousness having the object nothingness of first Arūpa Jhana Chitta. Resultant Jhana consciousness, which is neither perception with non-perception. In Pali, Akasanam Chayatana, Kriya Chitta, Viññānam Chayatana, Kriya Chitta, Akinchanyayatana, Kriya Chitta, and Neva Sanya Na Sanyayatana, Kriya Chitta. So today, we have learned Rūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara Chitta, fine material consciousness and immaterial sphere consciousness. There are also three classifications for each group: wholesome, resultant, and functional consciousness. So there are altogether 15 Rūpāvacara Chittas. 5 wholesome, 5 resultant, 5 functional, 5 kusala, 5 vipaka, 5 kriya. For resultant, immaterial the last lesson of the first chapter. after the last lesson, you will get the exercise for the whole chapter. If you don't have questions, let's conclude our class by sharing merits to devas and all the beings. Akasattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahīddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sāsanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahīddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahīddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu maṃ param. Buddha Sāsanam Chiran Tiṭṭhatu, Buddha Sāsanam Chiran Tiṭṭhatu, Buddha Sāsanam Chiran Tiṭṭhatu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.